Okay, gosh. And I've got space for this recording. Oh, everyone seems so far away. Hello.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, hi, Natalie. Good evening and welcome, everybody. Welcome to everybody online. It's lovely to have you and everyone in person. For those online, we're in a bigger room, so everyone is nicely spread out. So I welcome all of our members and I welcome all of our guests. It's lovely to have you with us this evening. Thank you for joining us. Tonight is our ToastEd 144th. Let me just confirm myself. Yes, meeting. Wow. And our theme is winning over worry. So I hope that you all enjoy the evening and take back some winning thoughts to get rid of those worrying feelings. I'm excited to share this evening with you all. For those of you on Zoom, please remember to rename yourself with the top 3 little dots if you are a member of ToastEd or if you are a guest. And to ensure a enjoyable evening for those online, please remember to keep yourself on mute and use jazz hands to applaud our wonderful speakers. And in the room, we will do loud applause. We are recording this evening, so those of you online, if you don't want to be on social media and become famous through ToastEd, then please keep your cameras off. But we'd love to see your faces, to have a lovely interactive evening with you all online too. And if you need the bathroom, for those of you online, it's where you last left it. For everybody in the room, I think the men's is down and to the left and the females is just here. You know, we can't walk that far.
Because ladies are always right.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm wishing you an informative evening. Have fun, take part, enjoy. And I now hand over to our wonderful President, Gabrielle.
It's wonderful to have so many new faces here, so many guests. Thanks for coming and joining us, and especially to all our members. It's a special evening for us because we have got an incredible accolade, which was possible because of you and you and you and you and you and you. I will come back to that just now. I hope you have got something to drink because we always speak a toast. And if it is only a glass of tea in the moment, then let's have some champagne, which we have provided for in the interval. We have an exciting evening because we have a new toast. We have the first time Toastmaster tonight, and we have an icebreaker. We have an induction of the new member, and we have to eat and to drink in the interval, which is just a big celebration. We always mention birthdays, and hello on the screen there, all of you which are online, a very warm welcome to you as well. We're celebrating birthdays every month, and we don't know how it happened, but Julia, you were forgotten. So we would like to wish you a wonderful year ahead. You are traveling a lot. You are not forgetting us with all of that. You got engaged. You are really flying along in your life. May it all stay like that with happiness and love in your heart. And thank you for being such a loyal and wonderful contributor to our club. So happy birthday to you. You may not forget the next month, but it was Chantel who had her birthday 2 days ago, I think. Was it 2 days? Yeah. And then it will be Sophie who has a birthday, and it will be June Heinreich. June, where are you? This month as well. So in case, you know, our messages should go out too late, please know that our heart is with you. And then I would like to welcome our guests. We have really a lot of guests this evening. And may I ask everybody, table after table, to stand up. It's your first possibility of free speaking, impromptu speaking. Just your name and where you come from. Are you Toastmaster? And yeah, just that we know. So Olga, may I ask you first?
I am Rosa George. I originally am Russian. South Africa from 2005, where Caroline was classes recording and Cape Town 4 years ago. So I believe it will be my final destination.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Mitch. Live just down the road here, about 500 meters down the road. Lived in Cape Town for about 2 years, the US before that, and then Joburg before that. And I'm a guest tonight. So nice to meet everyone.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Smelo. Been in Cape Town for about 4 years. Before then, stayed over in Japan, Joburg, but originally I'm from Limpopo.
Wow.
Leah, would you please introduce yourself and your guests as well?
Oh, sure. Hi, I'm Leah. I'm originally from Joburg, grown up in Cape Town, so I consider myself a Cape Townian. And yeah, these are my co-founders of my company, and we are here to hopefully learn a thing or two, but I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Richard. As Leah said, she told us we're here. We're all co-founders of the company here in Cape Town. I've been in Cape Town for about 2 years. I moved down to the company. I'm originally from Joburg, didn't live in Joburg before that. Very exciting. And yeah, looking forward to participating tonight.
And just stay for a moment. I hear company, but besides you look like good company in life. Would you say what company that is?
Yeah, it's De Novo Dairy. It's a biotech company here in Cape Town.
A dairy company.
Not quite.
Or a biotech, a biotic.
Biotech.
Biotech, yeah, I'm bionic. I just got a new hip, so.
Not the same.
Okay. Biotech, fantastic, thank you.
Wow.
I'm Jodie, also one of the guests, and I'm also originally from Joburg and moved here about 2 years ago for the company as well.
Thank you, welcome. And we have one guest you know. She is dear to us, but we always love to ask her to stand up. It's Madeleine Engelbrecht. She is the area director. Welcome, Madeleine.
I moved from Johannesburg at the end of 2019, so I'm also still feel new to Cape Town, and I always feel very welcome in the ToastEd Club. Thank you, Gabrielle. Welcome. I'll be your area director for another 4 weeks or 3 weeks. End of June is by end of my term.
Unfortunately.
Who would have thought a year would fly this up?
Thank you. So then we have on screen, hello Shifa.
Hi, everybody. I'm Shifa, and I'm originally from Cape Town, but currently I'm living and working in Tashkent in Uzbekistan, in Central Asia.
And what kind of work are you doing there?
I'm a teacher.
Okay. Okay. Amazing.
Yeah. So I want to just say a thank you to Gabrielle for accepting my invitation. I'm really happy to join you. It's a 3-hour time difference, so it's just after 9 o'clock my time.
Jose Ventura, we saw you just shortly, but you're gone again. Can you show your face, please? Okay. Here you are. Jose, hello, good evening. From where are you connecting to us?
I'm from my second room in my apartment in Cape Town.
And where in South Africa?
Yeah, Cape Town, just down the road from you guys.
Okay. And why do you keep away from us and not come show your face in person and have a glass of champagne?
I have a deadline for tomorrow, so I had to work. Always work. Sorry, you can't hear me too well. My machines are running in the background.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then we see you another time in person, hopefully.
Yeah.
If you like it with us, you still have a choice. Okay, enjoy the evening, Jose. And Ayesha. Ayesha, where are you?
Hi everyone. Hi. I'm Aisha. Nice to meet everyone. This is my first time. I'm a guest tonight. Yeah, both my parents were Toastmasters, so I was just intrigued to find out what it's about. They've always encouraged me to do this, so let's see. I hope to learn and join, hopefully.
Yes, and Ayesha, is there a possibility to come in person as well?
Yes, sure. We'll
Okay.
see how tonight goes.
Yeah, exactly. I hope we manage to get through the points with you. Thank you. Enjoy the evening. Okay.
Thank you.
I would like to ask Willem to come forward because we do an induction and that means it's like a baptism for a new member to join the club. Okay, so Willem, everybody is always asked to write a little CV, and Willem said about his life. 1 second, where is it? Yeah. Willem said, I worked as an IT infrastructure specialist at one of the large mobile network operations. In 2017, I took medical disability due to my deteriorating eyesight. I'm currently busy with a coaching certification in success principles under Jack Canfield. This led me to grow interest in Toastmaster. And what do you like? I asked William. I like to make few batches of poor farmer soap every now and then. You have to explain that. And I also try my hand with video editing. So can you explain what is that poor farmer soap? Is it like with sheep?
Afrikaans noem het boereseep.
Yeah,
So basically
boereseep.
water and oil and lye that you mix with cold water.
Okay.
You mix it till it becomes solid. And eventually you throw it in a mold and you let it wait to mix and you cut it up.
And is there any good smell with that as well? Or do I smell
You can put smells in, but a lot of people actually like it. There is no fragrance in it. It's completely natural.
Okay.
Fragrances are synthetic.
Okay. Not that my husband would say you smell like a sheep, huh? not a good competition to the one and only whatever I do there. So okay. Now to become a member in Toastmaster is a privilege. And the only way to gain the benefits of the program is to actively participate. Do you, Willem, like to promise to be an active member of this club? And you just say, yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
And would you like to attend meetings regularly and prepare fully for your duties?
Yes, I do.
Wonderful. We don't make it too complicated. Then we ask the members of ToastEd, do you promise to support Willem as he works through the Toastmaster program, to provide him with positive, helpful evaluations, to make his membership a rewarding and fulfilling experience in his quest for self-development? And if it is so, please stand up, says, yes, we do, and we give an ovation.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
That was all.
Okay.
Short and sweet. So last not least, here comes now. Oh, now I got completely muddled up with this, all of this. Yeah. How much time do I still have? Because I'm always overstepping my time. 3 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't believe it. Winning over worry. In our, you can already extend my time, please. On our honeymoon trip, we met friends and their 12-year-old son. And we had a lot of adventures together, and he watched me. And one day, he just spoke it out, my shadow. He says, for Gabrielle, 3 cars are a traffic jam, 5 cars are chaos. So he recognized that I worry quickly about things. And then, growing older, I tried to put the shadow a little bit to the side. But then one day, Verity found me. I was just the SAA in Toastmasters, and we were 7 or 10 people. And Verity said to me, Gabrielle, wouldn't you like to become the next president? Now, I thought of something which happened to me when I was walking towards Machu Picchu in 4,000-meter height on the Alcantay Trail. We had a wonderful guide, his name was George, and we were looking at a storm which was coming. 4,000 meters, it's not so much fun. And he says, Gabrielle, don't worry. Look the storm right in the eye and walk. And when Verity asked me, would you like to be the next president? I thought, look the storm right into the eye and walk. Yes, Verity, I would. But I had cold shivers. And I thought, is she crazy? What is she doing here? So from then on, I started worrying. Would I be a president? Would I have leadership qualities? Oh my God, you know, I was shattered many times. And my doctor said to me, do you have stress in your life? Some of those things there, cortisol, whatever it is, much too high. I said, yeah, I'm a president of the club and I have leadership qualities. So now it is 3 years later from the whole Toastmaster experience, 2 years of a president. And by having got that chance from Verity to stand here where I'm standing, and wouldn't it have been for my wonderful supportive committee, it's Justine and it was Michelle, but it is still Michelle. It were people who are not here tonight, John, our secretary, our lovely Daniel in America, then it wouldn't have been what it is now. And if it wouldn't have been for so many of you who have given their speeches, filled their levels, because for the levels we get points at Toastmaster International, we wouldn't be what we are today. And that is a president distinct club, which is the highest accolade you can have. And I'm very proud that we are there. And I am proud on myself as well that I managed for 2 years to listen to you as well, to guide sometimes, to build those deep friendships and to bring the club to where we are now. And therefore, I would like you to raise your glass, even later you might come for more champagne, hopefully, that we speak a toast. That we raise our glass and we speak a toast, number one, to our own club, ToastEd, and then to all the speakers of South Africa. Cheers. To South Africa and her speakers. To ToastEd and her members. Cheers. We will hand over the club. We change a little positions, but we get wonderful new people in. We will get in Chantel, and we get in Sally, where are you? And we will get in Sean. We are not telling you now exactly what you're going to take, what they're going to take, but Justine and myself, we stay as well. So it will carry on, bringing to you lots of joy, and you will reward us and yourselves with wonderful speeches and keeping up to your diary or to your schedule to finish one after the other. So here to you all. Cheers. And then please welcome the Toastmaster of the evening, which will be Sally, who has got the courage to, early in her career already, to come forward and to be the Toastmaster of the evening. Welcome, Sally. My side, exactly. And then come a little bit closer to the camera. And then we have a wonderful principle, a Toastmaster. We have a mentorship. And Lawrence is a qualified, distinguished Toastmaster. And he won the championship for Southern Africa as the best evaluator. So he is going to support.
Welcome to Toastmasters. We are a group of passionate and sometimes obsessive people who love to speak and conquer this dreaded fear of public speaking. Did you know that public speaking is the second most scariest thing? The only thing more scary, based on a survey that they did in the US or somewhere else, is dying. Now, my role as the Toastmaster, coupled with my partner here, is to be like the MC, to make sure that everything went smoothly, and to make sure that we're here for a good time, not a long time. We need to make sure that we stick to time. And today's theme, winning over worry. So I'm going to put my co-speaker here on the spot and ask her to share a brief story about when she was last worried and how that affected her. But first, I'll tell a story of mine, so you have some time to process what I've just done to you, which is throwing you under the bus. So my dad, when he tried to explain to me when I was a youngster, I was about 10 years old, and we were at the soccer tournament. We had spent the whole weekend playing, and we were in the finals. And my dad could see, I was sitting on the corner, and I was worried, and I was panicking. And he thought that this was a good time to, sort of do what dads do. So he explained to me that worrying is fear of what you are seeing. Now, I was too young to know that my dad was talking about, looking too far in the past or too much in the future, right? That's what worrying is either you're looking in the future or in the past, but if you're in the present, there's nothing to worry about. So we got to the finals, and we ended up with the draw, and we had to do a penalty shootout to see who would win the competition. So my coach came up to me and asked me to take the first penalty. So as I'm walking up to the penalty spot, and I can see my mom and all the fans, I mean, probably like 3 people, fans, there's 3 other parents, but you're walking up as a small, frail kid, and you're standing, you're about to take a, and the keeper looked like a 2-meter giant, from my perspective, he looked like he was taking up the whole goal. And I thought back to my dad, and he said, worrying is fear of what you're seeing. So I took that literally, and I closed my eyes. I kicked as hard as I could, and I didn't hear any applause, so I assumed that I missed. And when I opened my eyes, I had indeed missed. But I learned a really important and valuable lesson that day, that if you take action, you can conquer. And I was lucky enough to win the fight over worry. So I've given you enough time. Do you want to share with us one quick, brief time when you were last worried?
About 5 minutes ago. My eyes saw the room, people. Sorry about that worrying. But for me, what I worry, I don't worry too much, but I worry. And I recently read a quote or a saying, if you can worry, you can pray, or if you can worry, you can turn it around to something positive. And I think worrying is waste. I always say to my daughter, worrying is wasted energy. If you can't fix it, there's no point in worrying. All you have to do is take next action. So I'm standing up here taking the next action this evening, thanks to my mentor who's encouraged me and believed that I could do it. So welcome this evening to my first Toastmasters role.
Give me a round. As the Toastmaster, we'll be sharing the role tonight. That's not normally the case. Normally it's one person, but I just wanted to give Sally a little bit of encouragement. And we don't play this role on our own. There are various other role members that get involved. So I'm going to hand over to Sally, who can introduce the different role members.
So we can have 3 role members tonight. That our accountant will be Justine. And would you like to come and tell us about that?
I think last time I was told that my crutch word was yeah. So I'm kind of so I'm going to try not to use that, but I'm not the one having to, you're the ones that having to listen to what language you're using. So the purpose of the R counter is to listen very carefully to any crutch words that are used, any filler words. So words such as so, yeah, like, there's lots of those words that we fill in and we're kind of wondering what to say next. And I will be taking notes on what you're saying as your crutch words. If you repeat some things a few times, And at the end of it, it's not, I'm not going to go and be like, oh my gosh, you used 500 of these words. I will just tell you at the end of the night, what is your crutch word? Because it's quite nice to know, because now I know y'all. And I'm trying very hard not to use y'all. And then you can use that in your going forward from Toastmasters. So thank you. And I'll report back at the end of the meeting.
Next one will be grammarian, listener, please tell.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I must apologize because last time I think I did give a precise account of 35 O's and 20 S's and whatever I said. So I'll apologize. I'll follow in Justine's gracious footsteps next time. But my role today is as grammarian. As grammarian, I'm going to be listening carefully to everyone giving their speeches. I'm looking specifically for, listening carefully to the language, and listening carefully for any improper language, as well as any excellent phrases. It's my job to introduce the word of the day, and today's word is triumphant, which means having won a battle or contest. And an example of the word is the speaker was triumphant in overcoming her nerves to give her first icebreaker. Selena. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
So we have this evening is Timekeeper by June.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. So I will be the timekeeper for the evening. I'm going to keep track of the specified times for all the speeches, which are the table topics, the formal speeches, and the evaluations. The table topics are between 1 and 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I'll raise a green card, 2 minutes, 1 minute and 30 seconds, a yellow card, and 2 minutes, I will raise the red card. Thank you. Then the structured speech or the formal speeches, the first one will be 6 minutes. The green card will be at 4, the yellow will be at 5, and the red will be at 6. And the following one will be up to 4 minutes. Green will be at 3 minutes, yellow at 3:30, and red at 4. I think the valuations for 2 minutes, for 3 minutes. So the green card will be at 2 minutes, yellow at 2:30, and red at 3. That is it. Thank you.
Next role we're going to call upon is the evaluator. For those of you who haven't been before, the evaluator is the person that gives feedback to the speaker. And just so that you know that the evaluator will always give positive and negative, but the negative is there for your growth. It is not there for criticism, and it's a safe space to be. So next I'd like to call up is Catherine. Thank you. Introduce the speaker and the speaker's outcome.
Yes, so am I standing right? So yes, Madam President, thanks for your lovely speech, and Madam Toastmaster, Sally, that's you, members and guests, welcome. Yeah, and most of all, Maximina, yes. So I feel very privileged to be evaluating your icebreaker. For me, it's such an amazing opportunity because it's your very, very first speech. So it's an opportunity for us all to get to know Maximina and what she's all about. And her topic for the evening is the perks of showing up. And it's so funny, I think it's really meant to be, because my whole philosophy this year is about, am I showing up enough? Who's showing up in my life? The whole showing up philosophy. So I'm really, really looking forward to hearing it. And as you know, Maximina, we discussed what we'll be looking for, the usuals. But the purpose of this project is for the members to introduce themselves to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. And at the end of Maximina's speech, the tradition of Toastmasters is we all stand up and we clap because it's the very first speech. and I'm very confident she's going to blow us away. Thank you.
On our first speaker, Maximina, we'll be talking about the perks of showing up. The perks of showing up, Maximina.
So, Chantal, you're very right. I am triumphant and I'm going to be triumphant today. About winning over worrying, let me tell you what happened before Women's started our meeting. So I saw these two at the corner there. They're trying to prepare, right? And guess what happens? My fears struck in and I took my papers, ran into the toilet. One of my papers fall down into
no,
and I won't tell you the rest. But I think I just want to find out from you. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you are thrown into the deep end and you're struggling to keep your head above water?
Yes.
You agree with me. So, beginning this year, 2023, one of my colleagues came to me and said, Maxi, that's my name, by the way. I love Maxi because it's sexy and I love it. Yes. I am leading the organization and I want you to step up as the executive director. And I'm thinking, me, myself as Maxi, will I be able to show up to this role? I was excited. I was very fearful. I had depression. Am I going to meet the standard of being an executive director? Am I going to show up for the rest of the team that are expecting so much from myself? I knew the role required me to step up, to show up, and be able to deliver. And honestly, I didn't know what to do. Nevertheless, I told myself I am a winner. I picked myself up. I fierced through in terms of whatever came my way in terms of the text of being an executive director. I looked for different skills, platforms, and here we are, ToastEd, and I'm standing before you trying to challenge some of those texts that comes with this new role. Let me tell you about me being a winner, being a fear fighter. I grew up in Zimbabwe, as you all know, in the rural parts of Zimbabwe. I had to walk 7 kilometers to my primary school. When I got to the school, already tired, already exhausted, and thinking already, how am I going to go back home another 7 kilometers? I lost my parents at an early age of 11, so which means I had to navigate through life with the little resources that my relatives could find for me. Another perks of life. So when I tell you, I know how to challenge the perks of life, and I know how to show up even for myself. You are starting to get the picture, right? So fast forward, it was time for me to go to high school. I had no funds. My relatives couldn't afford me. I had to wait for 2 years gap. Finally, some funds were found, and they said, it's time for you to go back to school. What did I do? I picked myself up, went in, and enrolled myself for Form 1. In South Africa, they might call it grade 12. Now, the challenge came in again, the perks of life. Remember, I had delayed in 2 years, which means I was going in a class lower my age. I had to face stigma and discrimination all through my entire high school time. The perks of life, right? Trying to show up for your own dreams, for your own life. So here I am, I've attained my high school, and again, the perks of life came knocking on my door. Okay, you finished high school, so what next? do you have funds to go to the college or the university that you want to go? There was no funds again. So I had to look for part-times, trying to put things together while he's going to school during the night, trying to find a job on a daily basis so that I could put through myself college, have a bit of diploma, find another better job, then go into the degrees and masters and so on, while we are here today. We can go on and on and on. Even the current position that I'm in, the text that I went through for me to put this speech together, I've learned to embrace my background, and it made me who I am today. It made me a winner in life. I have decided either perks of showing up have to go with me or they have to get out of the way. Talking about icing on the cake, I joined ToastEd, myself, where I could grow, I could do literally everything, I could flourish, but not slacking, that's being right. And I enjoy this environment because it helps me to navigate the perks of life. And I know this is the place where I'm going to get an astounding applause as I sit down.
Sure. Thank you for showing us that amazing winning over worry. Gosh, that's amazing. And what an amazing perk we have is to have Maxima in our club. Congratulations. The next up is our evaluator online, will be Claire, and she will introduce the next speaker to and what her speech is about, going to be about.
Good evening, everybody. So I have the privilege of evaluating Julia's speech. She's doing the third project from Innovative Planning, and it's about the purpose of this particular project is for her to deliver a social speech. She had a choice of a toast, an acceptance speech, honoring an individual, so presenting an award or something like that, or honoring an organization. And Julia is going to be honoring an organization. And looking forward to hearing your speech, Julia. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you and welcome. And I'm thrilled to honor you tonight. Come with me on a small journey, on a small and tasteful journey. It's about a coffee bean, the coffee bean. Friends from my boarding school, and the most important person in the room, you. For most of us, the coffee bean is our greatest special friend each day. You know why? She wakes us up from a tasteful, freshly brewed morning coffee. And when we leave her alone in the evening, she let us sleep without discussion. I would like to honor you, yes, you, for waking up, maybe with this coffee and showing up tonight. Because being here is the beginning of a new story. The story of the next chapter. The unwritten story of your yesterday. And as we are all together in this room and space, our all story. Like the story of a coffee bean. She is a seed who needs love and care to grow, gets harvested and roasted before we do all sort of amazing things with her. Caffè latte, cappuccino, espresso, iced coffee, coffee schnapps, and so on. I'm sure if the coffee bean could speak, she would have many stories to tell about her journey. Last weekend, I met with friends from my boarding school in the south of Germany, in Baden-Baden. We met 30 years ago, but most of us have only become friends in the last years, since we were brave enough to start meeting annually. Before we reconnected, everyone was living in a small bubble of memories, some good and some bad, with little connection to each other's past. When we met, we felt like sisters and brothers, but with no expectations and just hanging out together, drinking lots of coffee, yeah, wine, and creating new stories. After we met, we learned that we are more connected than we thought. We feel like one. Ubuntu is a word I introduced to them on the morning of our goodbyes. Because together we give our life the sweet, bitter taste, like a nice cup of
Coffee.
coffee. You get it. Congratulations and well done for showing up with or without the coffee bean. In being here, you say yes to the beginning of a new story, the next chapter, and the unwritten story of our yes. Keep spilling all the beans of your personal backpack of experience at ToastEd and share it with wide and wild in your speeches till you become not a tasteful cappuccino, but a champion as Toastmaster. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. Loved it. Tonight, we have a special intro. We have a special educational, should I say? And I think it's for a birthday bash. Do we normally do them? It's exciting to have you. So tonight we're having a world champion, Verity Price, talking about the fundamentals of speech writing. The fundamentals of speech writing, Verity Price.
Before I start, can you give Sally an amazing round of applause? It really is from the perks of showing up to being there, done that. We're getting a lot of inspiration today, and I'm excited to see what's going on outside. Sounds like there's some fun happening at the back there, but I'm really excited just to use this time to do a little bit of teaching as to how do we present with power at the front of the room. And when we think of presenting with power, what's important for me is that all our members are empowered to be able to present at the front of the room. Do you agree? Yes, okay. And in the new Toastmasters, I think I've got my time going just to keep me going with time. In the new Toastmasters program, especially for our guests, we have this amazing program called Pathways, where depending what you're wanting to learn, what you're wanting to develop, you choose an educational pathway, whether it's visionary communication or technical presenting or motivational strategies, you choose what you're wanting to work on. But sometimes what's missing in that program is the fundamentals of writing a speech. And Maxie, you did a great job. I mean, you really showed us authentic speaking up here. You took us on a journey. So we are a club that is full of fantastic speakers, but sometimes just understanding what makes up an exceptional speech helps us to be exceptional speakers. So you already know what an exceptional speech sounds like, and online as well. You've seen exceptional speeches in your life. So I want to start, and I want to see if my clicker works. Justine, you might have to help me. There we go. In your experience, you've sat through many presentations in your life. What makes up a great speech? What are the elements? What do people do that makes the speech work for you? Storytelling, 100%. Humor, authenticity, pace, eye contact. Eye contact helps. Yeah, there's nothing like having a speaker speak to you like this for the whole time. Can be thrilling. Eye contact online, you can also, a good story, I see that coming in online. Anything else? Really think about it. You've sat through a lot of presentations in your life. What makes up a great speech?
Confidence.
Great.
Emotions.
Emotions, so they evoke emotions.
Confidence.
Confidence, absolutely.
I think also sort of out the box quirkiness as opposed to too much formality. Yeah.
Yeah, so almost the confidence to be yourself, to do something a little bit daring, a little bit out the box so that you grab the audience's attention.
I think a message, I mean, thinking on your world.
Authenticity from Libby, yeah.
Did we say message already?
No,
Because-
message is very important.
Because your winning speech, I mean, there was really so much to learn from, and it was a clear message.
Yeah, message is key. And so often when we present or work on a presentation, we don't think, what is the audience going to walk away with? What are they going to tell someone 2 weeks after I've given the speech that they'll be able to repeat back what I said and say the right thing? So it's not a broken telephone. The same message gets relayed. Absolutely. Okay, so we know what goes into a good speech, but sometimes it's not that easy to write that good speech when we sit down to write a speech. Do you ever find that challenging? Like, where do I start? What do I do? So you've pretty much nailed it. I'll see what I've got here. So the one thing that didn't come through was the speech organization. Is it easy for the audience to follow you? Powerful opening and closing. For me, that's about having the confidence to own your audience. Are you confident enough to grab their attention and keep their attention and not kind of finish off on like half a thought? And I often see people do a great presentation, and especially in a business context, and they get to the last slide and they go, yeah, I think that's it. Thank you. No, don't do that. So your powerful opening and closing, owning your audience from the beginning to start, eye contact, absolutely, there's that connection. Gestures, is your body matching what you're saying? And I was coaching someone today online, and they showed me their video that they'd done for a big kind of political campaign, and literally they're doing this really powerful speech, everything, why you should vote for them, but their body wasn't speaking with them. So gestures are so important. Use of humor. You know, if people aren't enjoying themselves, if you're not varying the pace and the experience, you're also going to lose them. Language. Now, this is the power, and this is what our grammarian is looking out for today, is the power of language. Are we using similes, metaphors, analogies? Are we using repetition or rhyme so that it's easy for the audience to follow what we're saying? In fact, great speeches don't have a lot of content. They keep circling back to the same idea. And watch great comedians. How do they build their humor? They keep coming back to that little scenario that happened at the fridge with the empty orange juice bottle or whatever. They keep coming back to it through the whole skit. So are we using our language to build connection with the audience? And then delivery. That's that authenticity, that passion, that out-the-box quirkiness so that people remember us. Now, we know all of this because we sat through great presentations, but how do we get to this? How do we ensure that when we present, all of these things are happening? So this is where it gets interesting, because there are things that happen with tech that just keeps you on your toes. There are two experiences of a presentation, and I'm going to keep it in line with Toastmasters. There's this experience. It's dry, it's hard to get through, it's tasteless, it's completely unmemorable, there's just nothing going on there. Or there's this experience, and we've got lots of that here today. It's engaging, it's bubbly, it's effervescent, it's memorable, it's a conversation with the audience. So this is what we're all moving towards in this organization, is giving these kinds of presentations in whatever sphere that you have to speak. But how do we do that? Something I learned from my world champion coach when I was doing the world champion journey in 2021, Lance Miller was the 2005 world champion. And for our guests, the world championship is a 7-month journey that 35,000 Toastmasters enter every year in the hope that someone will win. And I was lucky enough to be the first person from Africa to ever win in 2021 with the help of my amazing club. So what Lance Miller taught me, my coach, is that there are 3 parts to any presentation you ever sit through. And it's interesting when you look at how he breaks up the percentages, just to help you think about where you focus your energy. 20% of what your audience is impacted by is the mechanics of your speech. Now, I'm going to be teaching you mechanics today because the mechanics matter
but it's only 20% of what actually impacts the audience. So a well-organized speech, but only 20% of what they're going to walk away with is the mechanics. 30%, to your point, Gabrielle, is your message. So if you've got a powerful message with bad mechanics, the audience is still going to remember the message. They're not going to care how many ums and ahs and bad language you had because you were nervous. If the message was powerful and it moved them, they're going to remember it. But 50% of what impacts your audience is your life force, your energy, your conviction, your passion. And that's why it's crucial that you speak about things you're excited by. And that's where storytelling, and someone said storytelling is so key, and online we're also saying storytelling. Storytelling is where you access life force. Why? Because it's something you've lived. It's something you've experienced. It's something you probably tell friends at a dinner party, and after a few drinks, you find yourself jumping up and reliving that experience. People are hanging on every word. Even if it's not a beautifully crafted story, your life force when you tell that story is what impacts your audience. Okay. So this is what, for me, Toastmasters is moving us to find. Access our individual, authentic life force, because it's not about cookie cutter. It's not about everyone being the same. We're not all going to have the same message, but the mechanics are pretty much cut and paste, and then you put your own edge on it. So can I take you through some of the mechanics? Yes. Awesome. All right. So how long have I been in this organization? I think 12 years that I've been at Toastmasters. I've been speaking professionally for about 15 years. When I look at presentations, good presentations and not so good presentations, I came to this realization that a great speech is like a hamburger. Okay. So any of you who follow me online will know I go on about this a lot, because actually a great speech is a hamburger. It's bite-sized, it's tasty, it's a one delicious message with a few frills and some storytelling and some language and body language and all those things that make up a great speech. But it's easy for the audience to take in and easy for them to walk away and remember. That's what we want as a great speech. What most speeches look like, and especially in the corporate world, is that. If you ever sat through a presentation like that, they have so much information and now going to shove it into you, and until they see their time's running out, hang on, I've still got 57 points that I need to share with you, and we overwhelm our audience. They can't digest it, they can't take it in, they're overwhelmed and they remember nothing. So it is far braver, and even with your own stories, it's far braver to take that whole holiday you want to talk about and go, what's the one aspect I'm going to hone in on? And I'm going to tell that story. I'm going to let people be immersed in that situation and really let them discover the message that came out of it, rather than, and then we got to the airport, okay, hold on, and then there was the tickets, oh, but of course I haven't told you about the bag. Now let me tell you about what happened at the parking lot. Have you listened to a story like that? It's exhausting. And our brain wants to do that because we're like, I'd hate for you to miss out on any of the details. But what I'm going to tell you today is, please never ruin a good story with the facts. Okay, never ruin a good story with the facts. Rather take them down the simplest path to your message so that they remember what you've said. Okay, so let's look at how we write a hamburger speech. And it's very simple, and you already know this, but we sometimes forget to do it. If you're wanting to create the hamburger speech, the first thing you want is that killer introduction. Remember, I said powerful opening, powerful closing. You have got 30 seconds when you're speaking to make your audience care. 30 seconds for them to sit up and go, I need to listen to this. Whether it's a 2-minute speech or a 2-hour lecture, if you don't grab their attention in the first 30 seconds, they've got other things to think about. So ways we do this, and it makes me mad. I mean, you really did it beautifully today, taking us into the toilet, using your notes. We were listening. We were like, okay, take us on this journey. You know, so again, that's that unique out the box, you know, let me grab their attention in my way. You can ask a yes or no question. So who here has ever been afraid of the future or something like that? Everyone's going to say yes to that question. They're also going to care about that question because maybe you've got an answer for them. So yes or no questions are great ways to have that killer introduction to make them care about what's coming next and make them curious about what's coming next. because a curious audience is a listening audience. Some people like to start straight in with a story. So you could paint a picture, throw them straight into a setting so they're like right there wanting to know what happens. Other people like to use a famous quote. Provisor here, please don't use famous quotes for the sake of letting someone else's powerful words do the work for you. This is a lesson I learned from my mentor. If you are going to use a quote, rather than saying, Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world, you're like, oh, yeah, I've heard that so many times. But if you said, growing up, whenever I used to visit my grandmother and I would go to the fridge to get a glass of water, she had this quote that I would see and it always stuck with me. It said, be the change you want to see in the world. Can you see the difference? So only use the quote if you can put yourself into why that quote matters to you and where it came from. Okay, so killer introduction, 30 seconds. Look at the way you're starting your speeches. Please don't waste it on thank you. I'm so grateful to be here. It's so wonderful. If you need to do protocol, do it after you've got our attention. Are we good with doing killer introductions? Yes, okay. The next piece, this is where we map out the important stuff, and that is the body of our speech. I think my clicker is not wanting to speak to me. Let's see. I'll let Justine take the wheel, or maybe it's not talking. The middle of our speech is an easy to follow body. Okay, so here, and depending, you might be doing a technical topic or you might be telling a story, the same principle applies. 3 to 5 points. Your audience cannot take in more than that. And I know you sat in a speech where someone says, I'm going to share my 15-point plan. Your brain switches off. 3 to 5 points with stories or analogies to help them see and understand it. Probably your most powerful tool in speech giving is finding an analogy. If you don't have a personal story, find an analogy to explain what you're talking about. I'll give you an example. Many years ago, we had a young gentleman do an icebreaker speech, and he stood up and he said, my life is like an Oreo cookie. Would you agree that that's a killer introduction? You're like, how on earth is your life like an Oreo cookie? He then explained that he'd started his life in the rural, gritty, chocolatey backwaters of the Transkei. And he spoke about his childhood. So that was his first point. He then went into how he had a vanilla, cushy change of life at 12 when he got adopted by a white family, the Miller family, living in Constantia. And he spoke about this easy childhood at a private school. And now in his mid-20s, he'd gone back to his chocolatey roots and he was living in Gugulethu, starting a startup business. I've never forgotten that speech, and I never heard that speech. Someone else heard that speech. And a week later, they told me his story, and I'm telling you that story 10 years later. That's the power of analogy. Simple point. All I have to remember is an Oreo cookie. So look at how you can make the body of your content easy to follow. Take out the points that are cluttering things so that your audience can see what you're saying, not have to think about what you're saying. So that's short sentences, simple descriptions, analogies, similes, metaphors. Okay. And then last but not least, you want a powerful conclusion. Now, you know what's great about this bun? That was once one bun. Someone's cut it in half. So all you have to do as a speaker when you get to your conclusion is look at your killer introduction and go, how can I tie back to how I started, but show a change? Make sense? Also, not easy to do, and that's why we have mentors, people that can look at our speech and see those opportunities that maybe we're missing. Any questions about this? Does it make sense? Do we do it enough? Or do we just get overwhelmed by the content and try and give it to the audience? So this will hopefully just help you to separate it out. Have I started strong? 3 to 5 points using visuals and analogies. And have I tied it all together that my conclusion ties back to my introduction in some way? So that's our hamburger. That's the fundamentals. That's the starting of a speech, building into that, because there's no point writing a good speech if there isn't a point. So we want to make sure that we have a point. I'm actually going to quickly show you another way to think about the hamburger, because maybe this framework will be easier for you to remember. Your introduction, give them a reason to care. So draw them in. Why is it important to them? Why should they care about what you're going to speak about? Then give them a reason to believe. Why is it important to you? So put yourself in, use your stories, take them on that journey. Then you tell them what they need to know. That's when you get into the body of your speech. And at the end, in your conclusion, give them that call to action. What do you want them to do as a result of you speaking? Because otherwise, why have you stood up? So there needs to be that call to action. This is a lovely framework. If any of you watch Richard Mulholland, also a fantastic presentation expert, this is his framework, and I love it because it also helps you to look at your speech. Is there a reason to care? Have I put myself in for them to believe in me? Have I made it clear what they need to do? And have I got a call to action? Okay, this is like the quickest masterclass ever in 20 minutes. Are we good?
Yes.
Yeah, I know I'm like a freight train. And I do have my book here today. If anyone wants this, you can take it home and the templates are in there. So yes, the structure is important, but again, if you don't have a message, then it doesn't matter. So the last thing I want to touch on today is, what is the purpose of any speech you give? There are going to be 4 reasons you stand up to speak in Toastmasters and in life. One will be to inform. I'm here to give you an informative speech, to teach you about something. Another might be, I'm here to persuade. I want you to buy something, or I want you to change or take on a new habit. Very different approaches, informing versus persuading. The other might be to inspire. So Maxine has showed us an inspiring speech today. Inspired us. We walk away changed by listening to her. And other times we're just there to entertain. So that looks like the easy option. It's not easy to just entertain an audience. And that doesn't mean an informative speech can't be a little bit entertaining. But always ask yourself when you start speaking, what is my general purpose for this speech? That's going to help you decide how to approach it and how to structure it. Okay. So always choose that. And then key and crucial is to go, what do I want people to know, do, or feel when I finish speaking? Most people don't do this step. I sometimes coach people that are a month into working on a global keynote that they're doing at a conference. They can't actually tell me what their call to action is. And until you can say it in a sentence, you're not going to be able to say it in an hour. Really think about that. If you can't say the point of your speech, your message in a sentence, you won't be able to say it in an hour. So our job as communicators is to write that message out in 10 words or less. It should be snappy. It could have a little bit of rhyme. It could be memorable. In my World Champions speech, it took me 90 days to work out my 10 words or less. And eventually it was, your life is a book. If you're not enjoying the read, write a different story. My ultimate message was, pick up your pen, write a different story. But it took a long time for me to get to that message. Make sure it's memorable. People still email, I'm picking up my pen, I'm writing a different story. But I worked a long time to get clear on that message. And think of it like the chorus of a song. Can people remember it? Can they tell someone 2 weeks later? That's our job when we communicate. Is, does your message matter? Does it land, and is it remembered? So in a nutshell, or in a burger, this is the journey that we get to take audiences on. We need to give it to them in a bite-sized, palatable way, using storytelling, body language, engaging introduction, taking them on a visual journey, finishing it powerfully, and leaving them with the 10 words or less that they can tell a friend, so that 10 years later, they can be telling you about how their life was like an Oreo cookie, because someone has never forgotten that. Okay. And I think I've got just the last thing. Yeah, I really always leave that with people. If you can't say it in a sentence, you're not going to be able to say it in an hour. So really make that your mission as presenting, because if you want to present with power, start with what is that power statement you want people to say when you finish speaking. And for me, I see my time is up. It's time to get you to dinner. And what a perfect time to be speaking about hamburgers just before we go to eat some delicious snacks. But really, my hope and my wish in this club is that we use every speaking opportunity as a way to hone that skill to quickly structure a presentation powerfully with a memorable message, so that you can show up here with your authentic life force and move people and change people in this room and out in the world, because ultimately that's what Toastmasters is allowing us to do. So here's to presenting with power, finding our voices and making our message matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Verity. I feel like I'm winning over worry by joining this club. Aren't I lucky? Were you not the founder of this club?
I was, yes.
I thought you, but I wasn't sure. Thank you for founding it. And so now we are bang on time, thanks to the great talent we've had this evening. You can now go and help yourself to some snacks and some drinks and relax and mingle, get to know each other. And we'll be back on at, let me just check, 7:35, is that right? On time. Yeah. And if you haven't paid your fees, you can pay them now if you're guests. And I think that's all I have to say. Enjoy the day.
Vulnerability.
Yes, thank you. So I see it as an opportunity, and I love to invite everyone into the space because this is what makes the community great, when you have new people joining with you.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the snacks. Hope you all had some lovely snacks at home where you are and had some great chatter and bantering. Lovely to hear, even amongst this noise. I welcome you back, and I now hand over to our fabulous Toastmasters, Sally and Lawrence.
Nice to have a little break, get my nerves back. So next I'm calling up the evaluators. The first evaluator is Catherine.
Toastmaster, president, members and guests, and most of all, Maximina. The perks of showing up. I think what a beautiful topic, especially the world we're living in that touches so much on that. So, and I think, you know, just the words, the perks of showing up really grabbed us. So well done for that. Yes, I love to start with a rhetorical question, which I think Bert will probably agree with us. It's always very powerful. So starting with that question and then everybody answering, I think was a great start. And I encourage you to repeat that strategy or tactic, because I think when strategies like that work, they can work again and again and again, and you've got the personality to carry it off so well. And I know we discussed before your speech some tips about, and the one was, and my mother actually taught me this, she's a drama teacher, about just enjoying every moment of it, because you're paying for it, you put time into it, you put effort, you've got a beautiful audience. So I personally felt that you really did that well. You enjoyed it, you're enthusiastic, you were like, I'm here, and I'm doing my icebreaker. So well done for that, Maximina. Yes, yeah, much enthusiasm. I think your vocals, they were lovely, and I think you certainly varied it with pause very well, and emphasis, and loud and soft, and so that all was there. But what I did feel is that you could have been a little bit louder, because you, with an audience here, you know, there's the Zoom in the background or whatever. So I just personally felt that just a little bit of an inch louder, and because you are quite a, you know, you're lovely big sort of personality in your personality, that just having that extra oomph of being a bit louder, I think would come through well. I loved your stories. I'm also Zimbabwean, about the 7 kilometers and what have you. And as Verity touched on in her speech, I felt that you could even have amped that up quite a lot. There were such lovely little anecdotes and stories that came through, but I think there could have been a few more. I did, when you walked away, I just kind of felt that I didn't quite know you, that I would have liked to have known more about you. So I think, because you've got, you know, such beautiful eyes and a lovely face and a smile and a personality, I think you can amp up those stories and those anecdotes and those quirky things, and, you know, like walking the 7 kilometers and, you know, things that are really interesting. I think you could have had a little bit more meat there. Okay, sorry, am I it right at the time now. I think very very clear. It was very clear. You were the pronunciation of each and every word of sentence, everything was beautiful. As I said, your vocal variety was absolutely fine. Just I think a little bit more loudness could have come in. The eye contact was great with the audience. Good eye contact. I think you could have once again varied it a bit more. You looked here a lot, you looked there, and you looked there. I think at the back, you could have looked in. So just remember to include all your audience there. The gestures were lovely. I love the fact that you're using hand movements a little bit more open. And I think you could perhaps use the space a bit more because you are catchy and you're riveting. So you can be that kind of speaker that moves and stops and uses this side and that side and forward and a little bit back. I think that would come off well. So yes, very good audience awareness and very comfortable. It says here a comfort level. I felt that I know you said you were nervous. I didn't notice any nerves. To me, you came across as wow, I'm here enjoying myself. Almost like I'm on holiday. This is great. So well done. Just retain that because it runs through. And yeah, it was very, very interesting. Just I think step up the antidotes, the stories, the quirkiness, and you certainly have everything in you to further that. But an excellent icebreaker. Well done.
Catherine. And the next evaluator will be Claire, who's online this evening.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. In the break, we had a really interesting conversation, and Julia gave us a bit more information about how the speech came about the humble coffee bean and her honoring us and the coffee bean. Julia, I loved your story, and I love the fact that you said that actually you created that speech today in 2 hours. And there were two parts that you gave. There was about well done to us for showing up, because the one really important part about learning is about showing up and actually putting yourself outside of your comfort zone to learn and grow and to be vulnerable, to show our authenticity. And you definitely did that today. I loved about you saying, spill the beans from your coffee bean backpack at Toastmasters. It was such a beautiful way of expressing it because we get to share our stories. You've shared so many stories, and I just loved how tonight I could see the growth. Even though this one was a presentation that you'd done with very little preparation, I could actually see how you'd grown from the first speeches that I've listened to you. You were very careful about your words and making sure that we understood clearly what you were saying. You leant into the camera. So the eye contact was great for being online. The one thing I want to challenge you is to stand up so that we can see you, that you can move around. But I love the fact that you used the coffee bean and you actually showed us the coffee bean. And you personified her for us and linked her to how she can help us to have more energy, to show up, how we can use it to connect with one another. You had great vocal variety. You could also have increased your vocal variety, the speed, the volume with which you spoke. But I think you did a great job for being online. Possibly also with the standing is also to use more gestures and body language if you were standing further away from the screen. But I think the topic was beautiful for this evening. It helped us to realize how easily we can draw exactly what Verity was saying, draw stories from our environment, make them applicable to how the experiences that we are having. So it was a great example of that. So I really appreciated that. I think we were all engaged in your story. And thank you for honoring all of us. And again, for everybody stepping up to grow. Thank you very much, Julia. And I yield back to our Toastmaster mistress of the evening.
There. I was just thinking of the thread that has gone through tonight for me is I was also grew up in Zambia and I went to boarding school. So both the speeches had Zambia, Zimbabwe, and it's like Canada and America. So it's been an amazing evening. And so there'll be no one evaluating Verity, but I would like to remind you that you have an amazing book for later if you'd like to buy that. And next, I would like to introduce June, who's our timekeeper. And it's also her first this evening, isn't it? First time doing yes. Have it right? The first two.
Okay.
Just the first two. Just the speeches. Yeah.
Sorry. So the speeches, Maximina was brilliant. You were 1 second over your 6 minutes. And the next one now. Julia, you were 1 second under. Oh, no. 1 second under. So 1 second over, 1 second under. I think that was brilliant. Okay, and the evaluation, Catherine, you were 1 minute 20 seconds over. And Claire, just 4 seconds over 3 minutes. Fantastic.
The fun part of the evening, table topics master, Sean, going to come up and introduce us to table topics.
The table topics are about impromptu speeches. And where have you needed to have an impromptu speech? Well, I'll tell you, you could have this scenario that plays out in your life. You're walking towards an elevator with your boss, and you've got 1 minute to sell him on an idea. That's why you do these table topics, so that you can get practice at that when you get that moment at the elevator, you sell your boss on that 1 minute idea you have. So I've got
The topics are still on the table.
So Michelle, will you come up first, please?
I should tell you that his 1 minute pitch wasn't asking me to do this. I was told.
Pick a number. Anyone?
Okay.
What number is that?
A 3.
So tell us about a fear you overcame to make your dream come true.
Woo. I've been pretty fearless my whole life. Thank you, Master Table Topics Master. This is such an interesting comment because I'm pretty feisty and I'm pretty fearless. But I fell pregnant at the age of 24. Oops. Well, that was not planned. But I had to become a mom. And I was petrified. Petrified. I grew up in a family of 7 kids. And on any given Sunday, there were about 14 people in our house. So I knew that, living with people and with lots of kids around would come naturally to me. But how could I become this mother who had to raise and educate and inspire a child? I was 24. I was incredibly naive. I was so young, and it definitely wasn't planned. But let me tell you something. When that girl was placed on my bosom, as they call it, the one thing I recognized immediately was she looks like my mom. Jessica looked exactly like my mom. And my mother was an incredible, incredible woman. Fiery, she was a warrior, she was a leader of our family. And I thought, if God was giving me a message in that moment, it was that you were going to be okay. And so I became this incredible mom who now has a daughter who's 23 years old, and who anybody who follows me on social media recognizes Jessica, because he goes, oh, I know you. Yeah, my mom posts me on social media. Sorry, I'm incredibly proud of her. But I overcame the fear of being a parent because I knew that that child did not choose to be in this world. And so I really took over the responsibility and countered the fear because I knew that she needed me to do that. Thank you.
Yeah, so you pick 9. The 2 most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. Have you found your why?
Yeah.
No pressure.
Yeah. So I think the day I was born was important, but the reason why I was born is more important, and that was to come into my daughter's life. She's adopted, so her father was murdered when she was about 1 year old. I've married her mother, and now she's my daughter. And I think I add value to her life, and I think she adds value to mine. I wouldn't change a thing in the world for it. And I'm grateful that I met her mom through Facebook. So Facebook has a place in my life. So I'm grateful for that, and I believe she makes every day better for me. So yeah, that's my life.
So can we go to Libby?
Sure. Yeah, let's go to Libby.
3 and 9 are taken.
Ask Libby what she wants, and then I can copy paste it.
Number 7.
Okay. So I'll just read it out. You must be willing to let go of the life you have planned for yourself, so as to have the life waiting for you. What is this life?
Wow.
The life that I need to let go of to get the life that is planned, if I've got the right thing. Sorry, could I ask you to read that again before I start?
You must be willing to let go of the life you have planned for yourself, so as to have the life waiting for you. What is this life? It's in the chat.
Thank you. The life that I must let go of is that hyperachiever wanting to cross every T and dot every I and make sure that the perfectionist is calmed down. Because the life that is waiting for me is that this year is my 60th. So I have spent my life trying to be that person that I set out for myself many, many, many years ago. But now that it's my 60th, you know what? The hair is gray, the legs are wobbly, but the eyes are sparkly, and the heart is still very, very young. So this is the year to actually just give caution to the wind and not to worry about crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's, because how much runway have I got left? How much time have I got to see the sunsets and see the sunrises? I've got lots. If I just stop and reflect and pause and be present, I know that the life that's waiting for me is the life that it's always had, but it's not if my hyperachiever is going to take control. Thank you.
Richard?
Six.
Okay. The greatest glory in living lies not in never failing, but rising from a fall. Tell us about a time you did this.
All right. I think this is an interesting topic for me because I pride myself on being quite a perfectionist. And so even when I have failed, I'm really good at reframing it. I would say that a fall that I've had is maybe not such a significant one. It's the first one that popped to mind. Is at some point in the not too distant past, I discovered I was in a job that I really, really hated, and I was confronted with the fear that I had wasted a considerable amount of time sort of developing this position, working my way up to it, and I was confronted with the idea that maybe I had made a critical error along the way that was going to take, many years to recover from. And this led me to, question quite a lot of things. And I don't think that's especially a fall, but it left me feeling pretty anxious. And in terms of rising from that fall, it wasn't entirely my own doing. We have Joni to thank for this mostly. We started a company. I quit my perfectly good job. I remember speaking to my boss, looking him in the eye and saying, "I'm leaving." And he said, "Oh, why? What can we offer you?" And I said, "Well, here's the thing. I don't actually have anything lined up. I'm just wandering off into the ether to start a company." And I'll never forget, he had nothing to say to that at all, which was worrying. But fortunately, it's all worked out. In a place now where I feel like recovered from that anxious position, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with the decision. So there we go.
Madam Toastmaster is full time.
One more.
Okay, so tomato. Okay, thanks for coming up. This is a subtle truth. Whatever you love, you are. What do you love? Okay.
Ever since I was a little boy, I've always been fascinated about cars. The imperfection, the color, the engine, the rumble that comes out of the exhaust. And growing up, I've realized that always fuels me. So ever since electric cars were announced, my heart dampened. Because I knew that I'd never experience that rumble again. However, of late, I've realized that my love for cars is actually still very strong, despite electric cars and any other thing. And for that, I'm actually glad about the automakers that are still making loud engines, loud exhausts, and I got myself one. Therefore, I can be able to escape this electrification and continue in the joy of indulging in what I love, which I think embraces me. Because I feel like even though I'm a bit of a shy guy, I've got the rumble of an engine inside of me. I've always got adventure, which I always embrace every now and then. Thanks.
Not having
This is the only moment that I'm glad I wasn't up to the tabletops tonight. They were tricky, they were difficult, they were good, they were exciting. You really got to know the people up there tonight. Thank you. So this is, we're coming to the sort of the close now. We're going to do the timekeeper's report of the tabletops, the impromptu speeches. June.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. So Michelle managed to do 2 minutes and 12 seconds. Well done. Robin, 1 minute and 1 second. Libby, 1 minute and 30 seconds. Richard, 1 minute and 48. And Tumelo, 1 minute and 34.
The grammarian report. Yeah.
Okay.
So
They won't hear
They won't
you.
hear you online
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah. I'm pleased to say Maximina is the only one, well, I'm not pleased, is the only one that used the word of the day. And
No.
Yeah, so she hit that one out the park. Go Maximina.
We were not so triumphant.
Next time. I must say there was so many amazing quotes. And I'm just going to focus on that. I can't go into what pick people's grammar apart. I'm not going to do that this time. I'm just going to go to the amazing quotes and amazing content, what I could pick up, because there was quite a lot. So Maximina, your phrase was navigate through life, knocking on my door, which was a beautiful, you just took us down that journey. And the perks of showing up, your title. It's amazing and we'll remember it. Julia, I loved your phrase, the unwritten story of your yesterday, which is so beautiful. I'm still thinking about it and I'm still chewing on it. So can you see me? Oh no, I was looking.
I actually was so thrilled to write it myself. I thought, wow. So I got excited myself.
It's very lyrical and beautiful, and I'm still unpacking that in my mind. So well done for that. And you also say together we give our life a bittersweet taste of the coffee bean, which is also something for us to chew on and think about and really profound. So thank you for that. And keep spilling the beans, but I think your other two quotes were quite profound. And Claire, I loved your phrase, draw stories from our environment. That also sucks us right in and just makes us think about what we're drawing from our environment. Michelle, raise, educate, and inspire a child. And I think I was with you. Raise, educate, and inspire. You know, you all lifted us up with that phrase. That was really beautiful. Robin, very powerful statement. She makes every day better in my life. And we were with you the whole time in that story. And, you know, I think that was almost your ending phrase, which was like a real punch. As Bertie says, punch it out. You punched it out big time. Libby, this is the year to give caution to the wind, but I loved how much runway do I have left? And I thought about that, and I'm still going to think about that when I go back and think, how much runway do I have left? And Richard, I love this. even though I failed, I'm really good at reframing it. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go home and reframe all my failures. Thank you for that. And Tamela, growing up, that fuels me. And I love that. Like, oh, okay, fuels me. That's so powerful. You took us with you. And I've got the rumble of an engine inside of me. I think that's your defining quote. So that's the marriage.
Justine is going to do us the counter.
So has been the crutch word of this room tonight. It's been so interesting. It's been a lot of so's. Lawrence, it's so. Sally, I could only hear one so, but I'm like, well done, that's amazing. Chantal, your crutch word is are. Maximina, congratulations on your icebreaker. You are such a winner, and I didn't hear any crutch words. So well done, you're the winner. Julia, I also heard no crutch words for you. This R counter roll has definitely made you become a fabulous. You notice big time when you want to fill in a gap. Verity, your crutch word is so. Catherine, your crutch word is Claire, I only heard one of each. And there were only 3. So that was great. It was so, are, and 1 repeat. So fabulous. June, your crutch word is also so. And so is Sean. So is Robin's. And Libby, yours is also so, but only 1. Amazing. Richard, yours is and Tamelo, just 1 so. So well done, everybody.
Check in with our president. Are we doing fines now or yeah?
Oh, that's what I was meant to. I'm just going to take a bit of airtime.
Thank you. Take it away.
I'm just going to quickly share a QR code for us to please vote on best table topics. It's just fun and games. I'll share it on the screen now. Please take a few minutes to just scan it with your camera and click who you would like to win, so I can just get that prepared for just now. Thank you. Woo. Sorry, that was something else. I wanted to know.
Do you find some? Catherine will be our fine master, and you're going to explain it to them.
So good.
So I'm terrible. I'm Toastmaster and Rex of EXCO and members and guests. This is actually my favorite role. And the reason why I like it is because it's a fun role. So please don't take it seriously. So basically I've written down all the funny things that people have either said or done in the evening. So it's very tongue in cheek. It's not deliberately aimed at you or a slight or anything. It's all in the name of human fun. So what I'm going to do is walk around with this glass and find you. So I hope you've got your 50 cents or your 2 rand, 5 rand, if we like coins. And the good news is it will go straight back into the club. So the club will have a bit of extra cash there. Okay. So Robin, you're up as first. Okay. Okay, so Robin, for forgetting to put the floor number on the board downstairs, is your responsibility. And Madeline, for accompanying me, I'm guessing the floor number at the end. Gabrielle, for saying your husband may say that you smell like a sheep. Okay. And for taking William, sorry, through the marriage journey of the I do. So how could you, Gabrielle, 2 husbands, really? Okay. Me for beating everyone and being the biggest warrior out and driving Justine and Gabrielle mad with my worrying about every little thing. So I will promise to put my coins in the
I
end.
must say something now.
Yes.
You're not worrying. You do such constructive commentaries and give us ideas each time. I will not mention everything now, but Catherine is really not only bringing you most of the guests, yeah, the whole Angola appears here, but from catering to this idea with the fine master, bringing guests, you are so engaged. We really have to thank you a lot for
Pleasure.
being in our club.
And the details of that. Okay, so I'll just carry on. So I will put my coins in there. Okay. So Gabrielle again and Justine and Verity for being flawless presidents, vice presidents, or treasurer. I can't see any flaws in these ladies. I'm sorry. Flawless means perfect, no flaws. I haven't seen any yet. I'm looking for them, but I don't see any.
We're well hidden.
Yeah. So there we go. Okay. Okay, so Verity, again, for being in Toastmasters for 12 years, and you said for speaking for 15 years. Wow.
Already got big money now.
Well, you won't say no to that.
Yeah. Can take it back out of the kitty.
And Verity for reminding us of
That's
the
in there.
expression into you when presenters give too much detail. And for showing us yumptious looking hamburgers when some of us have rumbling tummies throughout.
I think that's a tweet around
Sean for being brave enough to join the exco when he's just joined Toastmasters. Wow. Very impressive.
You're already paying in service.
And Claire to us for correctly changing Toastmasters to Toastmistress with respect to females. So we're going to hold you to that from now on here. The club. Toastmistress for Sally, which was very clever. Libby for being a hyperachiever and for describing 60-year-olds with having wobbly legs, which I very much doubt you do have. Okay. And for giving caution to the wind, so we'll be watching the space. Okay. So Willow, being a bit of a shy guy, I've never heard a bit of a shy guy, but having the rumble of an engine. And Maxima, we're the only one to use our word trumpet. So there's some, that's it, and there's some money for the club.
Thank you so much, Catherine. It's been fun and I'm always amazed how you think of everything. I'm so busy listening and paying, to have the space and the time to think of everybody like that's amazing. So the closing thoughts belong to me because my mentor has decided that I'm up to the challenge. So thank you. For me, this evening being Toastmasters has been fun. I've noticed that you face your fears, and as Richard Branson says, screw it, just do it. And I think for me, where I am a warrior, but I'm not like Catherine in the sense I don't check all the things. So Justine actually sent me the notes to be Toastmaster, and I hadn't really got to them until I arrived here, and then my mentor took me aside and said, let's do a quick get together. So thank you very much. And I'm glad it's definitely easier with support. And I'm really, really grateful for the support that I've been given. And thank you to Verity for inspiring us tonight. And keeping it simple is best. And I think that's what I've learned the most. I tend to over talk, so I'm now under talking. And I realized that I had a minute in my little schedule here. I never used my minute, but I won't use now. And yes, thanks for an amazing evening. And a very big thank you to you, Lawrence, and to Madam President for allowing me my first experience as Toastmaster. And
Mhm.
ToastEd. The clapping. I was supposed to do the clapping. Laura told me I have to.
Next time. We did great, Sally.
Okay.
Well,
Fabulous. Sally, first time Toastmaster. Lawrence, with guidance, I always appreciate, Lawrence, how you step in and help this club to refine itself, because we are young and you are one of the older ones, DTM, like Claire, and we love that. You know, we are here to learn. So I'm really grateful. Sally, super Toastmaster. I must really say I loved it. We all loved it, and you did it with ease. And what we discussed as well in earlier times when we met each other, I said, Sally, you will be a star. It's just that fear keeps you away. And that is what I would like to say to all of you. Everybody who is in this room has a profession and has an idea of leadership, and just fear is holding many of us back. And it's so unnecessary. I actually had intended to do a meditation with you at the beginning to stop fear, but we can do it another time, because it's such a pity. But unless we step up into our role here, we are not learning. And that's something I really beg you. Use the time. We have twice a month, we have a meeting. One is online. Yeah, it's fun to be here and have a glass of champagne. But this is what Toastmasters is about. We give a nice space. We are the walls for you, but you have to decorate the interior. And that is really what I would ask you, beg you, because that is the fun we have as an expo, to prepare the ground that you can step in there and say, I will do it. Because then after 2 years, we can either after 10 or 15 years have a world champion in our club, or we can say, I'm standing in front of my committee, corporate, whatever, and I can sell it. And not because you only learned it by heart, what Toastmaster has to give you, because you learned to connect with your heart here. That is what I want from you, that you come to authenticity, and everybody has shown authenticity of the table topics. And don't we love every speaker? And won't we see now, just in the awards winning, you know, who has won? I mean, everybody's a winner, but why did we vote for those people? Because they come from here, and that is what Verity expressed as well as life was, and that's in everybody, and that's what we really have to show as President Distinguished. Why? Because we have got those people. So I appeal to everybody, keep on going. We are here to provide the walls, but you fill the room with your style, with your panache. Okay, so thank you for the first time role players. Thank you as well, June, for having taken the timer role. Joan, God, are we happy to have you on the committee? Huh? Absolutely wonderful. And Maximina, well done. Yeah, we are going to hear more from you. We're looking forward to that. And I love that so many of you come Zimbabwe, Zambia, you know, you are fighter spirits. And I think in this country, we actually are fighter spirits. I have been 3 weeks ago on the jazz festival in Prince Albert. I was moved to tears. Number one, by the patron who spoke, Thuli Mandonzela. My God, is that a woman? It was incredible. Then a woman, Ingrid Wolfhard, she lives in Paarl. She has a house in Prince Albert. She bought a house, and when she came for the weekends, there were always the street children lying there and sleeping. And she said to the agent, please tell those children I bought this house. I don't want them here. And she said, they have nowhere to go. This woman collected 800,000 rand together with her sister in Belgium, and they built a center in the township, in the colored community. And since 15 years, they are still skilling up, or they are upskilling everybody who wants to come, but the youth. And there's so much music, as we know, you know, here comes the Amaka, da, 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 what is this, the song, here comes the Alabama, da, da, da. There is so much music in the population here. And so people are coming there to teach the youngsters, but it's art, it's literature, it's music. So they decided 2 years ago, or 1 year ago, to bring music to Prince Albert, to connect the community of the village with the location. And out of this comes the most amazing project. 3 days jazz, very good jazz musicians, some international, they didn't have that much money, but they played with the youngsters there. And they taught them, and they are coming back during the next year, and they're going next year from the 2nd to the 5th of May to have the next jazz festival. But the inspiration which came from this woman, Ingrid Wolfert, who has given her life to upskill and bring talent to Prince Albert, because that population is full of drugs and of no work and of depression, etc. But it all changed. And Tuliman and Zela stood between all the youngsters and talked to them. And we left this place after 3 days with, I tell you, I love South Africa, because there are leaders. And everybody in this room is a leader. And that is what we have to bring out. That is when you leave here after 2 years, 5 years, whatever, you know, I want to see a leader go out there because you are already. And I want you to blossom in that and to be happy about it and to share your love for speaking and inspiring people through every word you speak. Okay. I would like as well to speak to our guests. And Jose, did you enjoy the evening? Jose, did you enjoy a little bit of the evening?
I'll let my face answer that question for you.
And I saw Fulu, but Fulu, I don't see you now. She's gone, but Ayesha, show your beautiful face.
Hi.
Hello, Ayesha.
Yeah. Notice the
Could we tick
beautiful.
some of the boxes with you?
Yes, yes. No, you have you've built a beautiful community, and I'd love to be a part of it. You guys are also all very, very brave, and it's interesting to see where I could be, let's say a year from now or two.
Thank you, Ayesha. You know, and those commentaries are really warming our hearts even more, because we are just what we are. But if it goes that far that you want to be part of us, then it shows who you are. So thank you for saying that. It's wonderful. And Shifa, you stayed up so long, so admiration to you. And did you enjoy your time with us?
Yes, you know what struck me is the amazing energy in the room and amongst each other. There's such camaraderie, there is such friendliness, and a real skill and expertise that I'm really impressed with the quality of the club. So thank you once again for having me as a guest.
And I wanted to thank Claire as well for being always prepared to jump in, even last minute. When Julia said this morning, I can give a speech, and we said, okay, who can do it? Julia and Claire. So Julia, you have really spilled some wonderful beans on us. Thank you so much. We love it each time you speak. It's very special. Lovely, lovely. And Libby, I tell you, between the two of us, I look forward when you are down here. And Libby didn't say much, but she is so brave. There are such difficult times up in KwaZulu-Natal. It's not my task to speak about it, but she is such a brave woman. And Libby, I wish you all the best for every day that you can come down with a free heart to Cape Town and live a life like you deserve it. And I tell you, 60 is not a problem. I don't know, 70 might be a problem, but 60 is not. So come and dance with us and speak with us. Thank you, Libby, for being with us. One of the brave guests in this room, somebody who didn't say anything, would you like to stand up and just tell us whether we tick the boxes? Leah, is that something for you, perhaps?
Sure. Well, I think
Yeah.
for me, I came to learn. I'm a scientist, so I really enjoyed your breakdown of how to do public speaking. That's pretty much what I came to achieve. Yeah, so what we want to learn from the speaker will help us because we're units, is storytelling and sort of how to deliver a speech and sort of to sell our vision of how we want to create the future, specifically the future of food. So I really enjoyed that. And I liked seeing how everyone spoke and sort of incorporated what you said, whether it was learned or subconscious, I don't know, but it was really cool to see. So a couple of boxes ticked.
When I think about you, I love the young people in this room who are bringing new ideas to this country. We are in some way world leaders. Sometimes they have to discover us yet, yeah? But it's what I feel. That's why it is such a joy to be in this country. And now we have the next, yeah, and then sorry, Michelle. Mitch, yeah, Mitch. So
Sorry.
quiet there. Excuse me. You are hiding behind Michelle. Come, Mitch, yeah.
No, that's all. I mean, I don't have many words, but I will say it ticked all the boxes, and I'm finally glad I got out here. I've been threatening for a few weeks, so I'm glad I finally came to see what it was all about. And thank you all for such a warm reception. It was a great experience.
Thank you. Now comes the amazing moment of voting or having voted for the best table topic speaker. And we have a drum roll, please, for that. And the best table topics.
Just wait, my laptop's a bit slow.
Okay.
Okay.
Best table topics are going to be our guests, winning over warrior. And I must say as well, to Milo, I have the rumble of an engine in me. I mean, really, you paint pictures, and if you're going to speak, I want to hear more of that, because through those pictures, we get into your story and into you. It was wonderful. The others did as well, but nevertheless, I would like to pick out on that. And last but not least, I would like to thank Verity. I repeat myself perhaps over the years, Verity, but you are very dear to the club. You're very dear to my heart. What you share with us is of such great inspiration. You are an inspiration, but you let it flow out, you share it with us. Thank you, because when you are here, it's gold. It's golden time for us. So thank you for coming and teaching us. Not quite to the end. Next meeting will be online on the 20th of June. And I would like to ask Justine, as our VPE, just to come for a moment and say what she would like from you. And I can highly recommend to buy a book from Present with Power, because I don't speak as a speaker so much as President, yes, but the speech is not so much, but I do evaluations. And I take Verity's book and look what needs to be said in a good speech. And from that, I do my evaluation. And that's what I can recommend you as well. If you want to do a good evaluation, buy this book. But besides that, honor this book. Without that book, you cannot write a good speech. So that's with what I leave you. And there are only 5 books or 6 left. So I would run. Okay. So
I don't actually pay her to do this.
But it is like that. It is like that. She's always too shy about it. That's why there are still books. But you cannot live. But you cannot live without this book. I tell you now. With a tire here. And I lost mine, and since that time I don't do an evaluation anymore. And yeah, I say goodbye. I leave it all in the hand of our beautiful Justine. Thank you, Justine. And yeah.
I'm not sure how I can even say anything after all those beautiful words. Thank you, Gabrielle. I think
just be Justine.
I think you've covered a lot with regards to speaking, and we all want to be triumphant speakers. And yeah, at the end, sorry. And I mean, for me, I am the worst with regards to a VPE because I haven't done many speeches, but I really encourage you all to speak. And Madeleine was saying that we should be speaking every month, and I was like, oh dear. So we can kind of say we can speak every second month, like can stretch it a bit. But I also really encourage you to take on roles. the roles for me, as when I first joined Toastmasters, were a great little introduction as to, you know, you're standing here, you're speaking to people instead of, I mean, telling your story is fabulous, but it's, you're kind of hidden here and you can, you know, it's just easy and it's a practice round. So, oh dear. So, there we go. Just don't say so. Next time we are meeting on the 20th. It's online, as Gabrielle said, and the theme is think what is admirable. So there's lots that we can do with that theme. And what we're looking for with this meeting is we're looking for a Toastmaster of the evening. So please, if you are keen to be the Toastmaster, come tell me, message me, as well as a table topics master. We all learned from Sean tonight how beautiful you can make it. And we are looking for an R counter, a grammarian, a timer, and all the evaluators. So please sign up. Let me know if you're willing to take on a role.
Happy to take on the value of an evaluator role.
An evaluator role. Thank you.
Also
Sold to Lawrence.
How many pages?
Table topics. Sold to Robert. Okay. Will you write it down? I won't remember.
It's
anyone else?
I'd also like to recommend someone to be the Toastmaster. Is that allowed?
Yes, sure.
I'd like to recommend you.
Woo!
As someone who always takes on the roles of timekeeper and counter, I think you're ready to do the Toastmaster, and I'm happy to help you as well.
Sure. That's great. I'm traveling the next day, so I might be like a jittery mess, but I will do it. Yeah. Anyone want to be the R counter? You were grammarian. What did you say? Table topics. Grammarian, R counter, timer. Oh gosh.
I'll try the timer.
Yay, timer! You are here, yeah. You're not away yet.
Okay.
Okay, we don't need to do this auction right now, but I will start finding you.
Just roll with it.
Oh,
Yeah, I think
grammarian.
I can do grammarian.
Okay, grammarian.
And
if I'm available, I can be an evaluator. So
Okay, perfect, thank you. Others will just do the impromptu one, quick six again.
And we have to sell the 18th of July as well.
Yeah, so the 18th of July is.
July, Sean, Toastmaster.
Oh, Sean, I
my
love
God.
this for you. Fabulous.
And June is doing her icebreaker.
Yes, oh, Judy doing it on the 18th too. We have Catherine, Sally, and Jess, and Jude. Yes.
Sorry, Justine, did you just say you give a speech next time?
Oh gosh, Julia, no, I'm not ready yet. Give me 2 months, okay?
And tell what's happening on the 18th.
So on the 18th of July. Oh, you're away, yeah. Do you want to come talk about the 18th?
Please stay there.
Okay, thank you. I love this auction bar. It works so well.
We thought I was in a mistaken idea of tonight to celebrate distinguished president, and with that we do the whole year and everything. But luckily, Verity always keeps an eye as well on me. And she said, we rather wait until July, because then the new year has started and then you do the roles, etc. And then normally it will be done in a kind of a bash. And we have a dinner and we have awards and okay, fine. So the hotel can't accommodate us on the first Tuesday and on the second neither. So it will be the 18th of July. Unfortunately, 2 of our new members will not be here, but we will do it gracefully, perhaps online or with a picture from you, etc. You know? And we will have a dinner party. We will speak to the hotel. You just have your normal payment, but the club will add it up to a little bit more. And we will find out what it can be, but the club would like to invite you for more I mean, the food is fantastic, but we would like to give you perhaps a bowl of a curry or something like that. We'll find that out. And the bubbles, etc. And then it is a social evening at 8:30. It won't be finished. If we may stay a little bit longer, we do. And we can sit down and just enjoy the networking, each other's company. And Madeleine, you're hopefully coming again, and Michelle for sure, because Michelle was in the Exco and she had to change things in her life. So you have to hand over to as well. And it will be just a wonderful celebratory evening. Why? It is in July, because in America, they have in July the holidays, they change over, and then for them, the new year starts, I think, then more or less in July or August. So that's why I think for us it would be Christmas, but for them it is in
Christmas in July.
Yeah, Christmas in July. Are there any questions? No. So whoever, sorry, yeah?
It's my birthday on the 18th.
Ah, okay.
And you are 67 minutes.
Ah, yeah. Thank you, Michelle. Bring a friend. Okay.
Like Ubuntu, Madina.
Yeah, if you want to show the club from that side, from the hospitality, then yeah, bring a friend. That's it. Yeah. Are we done?
We're done. So,
Okay.
thank you.